Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'm going to be comparing two of some of the very best running shoes you can find out on the market. The Nike Vaporfly Next Percent versus the Saucony Endorphin Pro. Okay, so I have about 50K on each pair of shoes and I'm ready to give my verdict on which one I think is better. But before we get into any of that, let me just say that you can't go wrong with either of these shoes. Wearing this Nike or wearing this Saucony is a huge advantage to a normal pair of running shoes and will absolutely make you more efficient and ultimately faster. But with that being said, I do have a preference on which shoe I would choose come race day. But before we get into that, let's go over the stats on each shoe. Okay, so each shoe has an 8mm drop, with the Nike having a stack height of 40mm in the rear, 32 in the forefoot, and the Saucony Endorphin Pro has a 35.5mm stack height in the rear and a 27.5 in the forefoot. The Vaporflies in my men's size 8.5 weigh in at a very light 6.4 ounces or 182 grams. The Saucony comes in a little bit heavier but still really light. In my men's size 8.5, it comes in at 7.2 ounces or 204 grams. The Nike Vaporfly is going to set you back 250 US or 330 Canadian, whereas the Saucony will only set you back 200 US or 250 Canadian, so quite a bit cheaper than the Nike. And of course, both of these shoes being super shoes for each of their companies, Nike and Saucony, they both come with full-length carbon plates. The upper on the Saucony is fairly basic, just a nice, lightweight, breathable mesh. Gets the job done, no complaints. Saucony has a nice gusseted tongue, no issues with it slipping over side to side. Laces are fine. I really like the outsole on the Saucony. It's really grippy in wet conditions. I think this rubber is going to hold up really well. There is a ton of exposed foam as well on the Saucony, but I haven't had any issues with any premature wear through all the miles I've put on it so far, and I've even done a hard pack trail run with this shoe. Now the upper on the Nike is very different. It's what Nike calls vapor weave, and it's almost like extremely thin plastic. It's basically entirely see-through. And I have no issues with this upper either. The laces are asymmetrical, so you can really get a nice tight lockdown in the shoe. I would say the rubber on the outsole of the Nike isn't as grippy as the Saucony, but there's still plenty in the forefoot, a lot of exposed ZoomX foam. I'm getting some premature wear, but I'm pretty sure it's just cosmetic so far. Okay, so now with all of the basic stats out of the way, which one do I prefer? And I gotta give the win to the Nike. So there actually will be some examples where I would choose the Saucony over the Nike, but let's talk about why I like the Nike first of all. So in both shoes, I've done an easy run, I've done longer runs, and I've also done the very same run over the same course with the same intervals, same effort, and I can undoubtedly say, at least for myself, that I'm faster in the Nike. And another interesting thing that I noticed was my cadence was quite a bit faster in the Nike compared to the Saucony as well. So if you're spending all this money to buy a race shoe to go faster on race day, at least for myself, the Nike is faster than the Saucony. So probably 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be choosing the Nike. I probably would choose it for a 10K, and I would certainly choose the shoe for a half marathon and a full marathon. Now with that being said, you can't go wrong with the Saucony either. You're certainly much faster, more efficient in the Saucony than almost any other shoe out there. the Saucony for myself does have a much nicer ride than the Nike. The Saucony feels really nice at all paces. The Nike Vaporfly, it's really hard to run easy in this shoe. It just wants to go, go, go. And rightfully so, that's what the shoe was made for. But the Saucony feels really nice at all paces, and even at really fast race paces, it's just buttery smooth. It feels so nice running along in this shoe. But ultimately, the Nike for myself is a little bit faster of a shoe. With all that being said though, if I was doing a course that was really technical or had really wet roads, if it was raining conditions, then I would definitely be tempted to use the Saucony, because I think the Saucony over the Nike is just going to handle corners a little bit better, and especially if it's wet out. Oh, and for those of you that are wondering, the insole in the Nikes does not come out. The insole in the Sauconys does come out, and both of these shoes do fit true to size. So all my race shoes, I'm always an 8.5, and that was no exception in the Nike or the Saucony. Now, while the weight difference between the two you might not think is that significant, this weighs in at 6.4 ounces and this weighs in at 7.2 ounces. That's less than an ounce between the shoes, but that is an 11% difference. So over the course of a marathon, you think that's got to add up a little bit. And just the fact that you can get a shoe that's great for the marathon with this much cushion, this much energy return, this much everything in a package that in my size weighs less than 7 ounces, that's just crazy. So I'm really excited where shoes are heading in the future. These shoes are definitely game changers, and like I said, you can't go wrong with either one. If you're looking for pure speed out of a shoe, you want to go as fast as you can, you have no issues spending over 300 Canadian or 250 US, I'd probably try the Nike Vaporfly. If you want a little bit more comfort, maybe a shoe that's better at all paces, and you don't want to drop a ton of money, then the Saucony might be a better option for you. So going forward, I'll probably continue to buy the Nike Vaporfly, and as far as Saucony goes, I think when this one's done, I'll probably swap it out with the Endorphin Speed instead of the Pro, as it's a little bit cheaper. I feel like I won't need this carbon plate since I'm probably just going to be using this shoe for training. So amazing shoes. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite race day shoe is, and if you have both of these shoes, let me know what your preference is. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.